that I could forget everything that I've been through, almost every step.
So you are releasing six vinyl collectible packages from your new studio album, Love, Life, Tragedy, from June 27th to October 10th. And each package includes a comic style lyric book. Tell me why you decided to lean into comics for this project, and have you always been a lifelong comic fan?
I've been a lifelong comic fan and collector my whole life. Comic movies, everything. I collect baseball cards. I've just collected my whole life, and I love it. And um, I actually, years ago, around 2001, wrote a comic with Stan Lee for Backstreet Boys. It was called the Backstreet Project, and we did that as almost like exclusive tour comic that was also, I think, associated with Burger King at the time. And it was a lot of fun because I got to work with Stan Lee personally on it. We developed the characters, we created the story and everything. And so one of my favorite moments in the comic book world. And so I think it's just natural for me to get back into it, to do it. And I'm really proud of the album that I wrote and uh, put out recently, Love, Life, Tragedy. And we thought it would be a really cool thing, for fans, for if there's any collectors out there. I think that we come from an era of fans and people who still believe in the tangible stuff, the material stuff. Like we were all the CD listeners and the CD collectors at the time, and so we thought like a vinyl would be really cool. And putting the insert of the comic book story that we had put out and actually create something that you could just collect and take home with you. So yeah, it just seemed like a natural thing for me to do.
And did you have any favorite comics, both growing up or favorite comics that you've been following, like to this day?
I was AVP, was one of my favorites, Alien versus Predator. And any of the Alien series, any of the Predator series I loved. And obviously collected a lot of the Spider-Man stuff, X-Men I loved. And yeah, so it varies for me. I like the Conan, the Barbarian series a lot. Um, those are those are a lot of really fun stuff. But every now and then I'll come across like, an old comic that I'm like, oh, I think I want to have that in my collection. So yeah, but but yeah, I was more of a an X-Men, like the original X-Men movies were some of my favorites when those came out.
Mhm, they're really good. So I understand why. You've also released six comic book style music videos to accompany your album. Can you tell us more about the creative team and creative process behind this project and how you approach the storytelling and artwork for it?
I mean, we wanted every song that I wrote on this album was personal to me. So when you listen to it, you can maybe associate it or apply it to things that I've either gone through in my life or still going through. And each song is closely connected, and it was a way for me to. It was very therapeutic for me. I was able to writing, as a writer and a singer and a performer, entertainer. It's um, that place, that safe place for me. And so we wanted to create a comic video um, that later on obviously got the hard copies got inspired by those initially, but they um, they were not directly connected like literally to the lyrics. There was a lot of metaphors involved, like little Easter eggs that can be in them if you watch them back, and yeah, it was a story, but it was a beautiful story that each song we were able to take each song and create a visual. component to it um, that was emotional, that was personal, but also you know metaphorical as well. So different things. It just turned out that it's art. It was just basically artwork. And so going into the creative process, I was able to work with a really great team on that. My managers were also involved with that, and we were able to come up with something pretty special.
Proceeds from your collectible packages will also benefit the Kids Mental Health Foundation, which you've long supported. What is it about this organization and its mission that resonates so deeply with you?
It's interesting because I think a lot of well, first of all, it's a it's a place that needs addressing, in our society. There's a lot of stuff that our children, have to deal with, and don't necessarily know how, or what, or their families don't know where to go or how to deal with it. Things like social media, information overload, misinformation, all sorts of different things um, tend to be just, thrown right at, our children. And I have very young kids. I have a 9-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl and a 4-year-old girl. And it is like I think of them first and foremost, and I also think of everybody else's, 9-year old, 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 10-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody. So and I think of everything that we have to all the stuff we have to navigate through in our society. And so it was formed with my sister, Angel, and it really came from everything that I had grown up uh, experiencing, being a 13-year-old boy who started in the Backstreet Boys. Everything that I had to deal with and learn, and um, all that experience in my life. And obviously, we've lost 3 siblings, and a lot of it is attributed to mental health, because us being in this industry, this entertainment business, we experience a lot more that is kind of thrown at us, and we didn't know how to handle a lot of it. We were just a normal family that was thrust into this industry, and so with all of that being said, we have a lot of, I think, experience that we can offer to the Children's Mental Health Foundation, and our stories, when it comes to our family, and hopefully um, we can help that organization grow bigger, and be a place that people can turn to, in a time of need. I think about, like, as a comic book collector, as a kid who read, stories like that and everything. I, that that was like, and I'm not saying, I don't know necessarily if that's what those types of kids can be like, but when you're in that fantasy world, you're reading that, a lot of times you're it's your safe space too. You know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of comic book readers and collectors, they could be coming from broken homes, you know what I mean? And they want to, like, you know, um, go into their own little world and kind of escape a lot of the stuff that they're going through in their lives. And I think that it's a really good collaboration with the two worlds, because um, there is a big world out there, and there's a lot of help, for people, and yeah. So my sister and our life story, and so I'm glad that the proceeds are portion of the proceeds are going to go to it.
That's very well said. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, I've interviewed a lot of people in the comic space and comic creators, and they share a lot of the same sentiment as you just shared about comics being a power for like good and escape and
Yeah,
everything, a source of joy for most. So it
absolutely.
definitely is one of those things that brings a lot of joy, especially to
Hmm.
children as well.
Yeah.
And your single, Searchlight, is receiving a radio edit single and a music video that will be releasing on July 17th. What can fans expect from this release?
It is a one it's a wonderful music video that again I think is an art piece. I've always done when it comes to solo, I've never really taken my music videos to like that level of I don't know, I've just never really cared so much. I'm just like, okay, it's just like me performing a video and it's fun. I can sing it and maybe it's creative or whatever. But this one, we got a really great director and he was more of like a photographer, and he was able to do exactly what I was wanting, which was I wanted it to be about the song, like a searchlight. I had this like vision of um, like a lighthouse, in the middle of a storm, and basically the storms of life. Basically the lighthouse can shine through the storm, and you're trying to find your way back to the person that you love, and that's what it's all about. And there was a lot of beautiful visuals in the song and the video, and so he did a great job. And I just think it's an art piece, and this is probably the first time I've ever had a music video like that.
And the Backstreet Boys Las Vegas residency is coming up soon, kicking off July 11th at the Sphere, where more dates were even added to keep up with ticket demand. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel to have such a dedicated fan base, and what are you most excited for the upcoming residency?
Well, first and foremost, our fans are everything to us, and we love them. You know, but also, I think um, when it comes to people who listen to Backstreet Boys, there are the core fans, but then there's also people who just grew up, the music was around them, and we're seeing that people who want to come to the shows and see it either have not seen it or maybe the music had been passed down um, generationally to their children or whatever, and they're like, you got to come see this, or whatever. But the point is that it is a good feeling. It's a nostalgic feeling. I always say this too, and 99 2000 was a very um, wonderful time because it there we were going into this new era where basically there was no computers, there was no barely any phones or anything like that, and so you were still in this space where you were living, not here, you were living outside, and music was important. So I think that we just bring that good feeling back to to the fan base, whether you're a passive fan or whether you're a hardcore fan. And again, we never take it for granted. We never expect anything. There's always like nerves of, are people going to want to come see you? Are people going to, enjoy the show or whatever? But we keep our head down and we just continue to work hard and know that when we get on that stage, um, that every person who is coming there for those 2 hours, just like a comic book, wants to escape and enjoy, have a great show. We're still one of the last groups that I think really care about our show from top to finish. And so Sphere is going to it's going to elevate this Millennium 2.0 show to a whole nother stratosphere. So it's going to be great.
Will you be taking full advantage of like the high-tech visuals that the Sphere brings?
That's the whole point. Yeah, it really is supposed to be an immersive experience, visually and sound, just stimulating, and something that we are hearing that people want to keep coming back to. But what we're doing now is we're adding a whole nother element to that Sphere hasn't really done, and that is choreography, dancing, and thank God, some really great songs that people remember.
For my final question, this residency also coincides with the 25th anniversary of your group's hit album, Millennium. How have you all maintained group cohesion throughout the decades, and how will this Millennium 2.0 chapter contribute to both your group's legacy and its future moving forward?
Well, our cohesiveness comes from the love of what we do, the the respect that we have for the audience and the fans, and what we recognize what they want, um, and then we love each other. We have a very strong bond. Like I said, I've known them since I was 13 years old. I've been in this group since I was so young. So we're family with one another, and so that cohesion, that like-mindedness, the same goals, keep us going forward and challenging ourselves, and yeah, we never take it for granted because we realize that we're in a beautiful place where we're fortunate to still be able to be here after all these years. And 25th anniversary, or over 33 years of being a group is it's kind of unheard of. And so we're really grateful, and thankful to all the people who still want to listen to us and watch us.
Of course. Well, I'm sure the fans are very happy that you guys have remained together for so long. The residency sounds absolutely amazing. I know you all will crush it. You'll have such a fun time with that. Uh,
Thank you.
well, thank you so much for your time today. It was so great meeting you and getting to chat with you.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you so much.